Hi, Orange Girl here with another scrapbooking process video for you. I am working with some Flair from a Flair for Buttons today. I am also working with Shimelle's most recent collection called Never Grow Up. And these two photos of a nest that was built underneath our deck this year. There actually ended up being 4 eggs in there, and we haven't checked yet this week, but as of a few days ago, they were still there, and I have seen the mama bird around, and I haven't seen any babies yet, or heard any babies yet, so. Anyway, I wanted to, I pulled out some Flair from a couple of different Flair sets. I wasn't sure if I would go with these flowers, these flowers that look like poppies. They're so pretty, and I liked the way that the kind of red-orange matches the red-orange in this collection. I also thought I might use the hearts, so I haven't decided at this point what I'm going to do. I'm not usually a themey scrapper, and so I really wanted to use the paper that had the birds all over it because even though I'm not usually a themey scrapper, because this was about birds, I thought, oh, well, that would be great. But the thing is with me is I have a hard time then using it. Like I can't make it work for me. It doesn't always fit my style. And to be honest, I bought this paper for the other side. But that said, I end up using it and I really like it. So what I've done here is I've just used a little strip of it. So it's like, I think 4 inches, a 4-inch strip of that pattern paper. And then I pulled a whole bunch of the branding strips from different pattern papers in the collection. And I grabbed those and I'm putting some of those over on the left side and then also the one down the center there. So I'm using branding strips and then this one strip of the bird paper. Then I am kind of pulling out some different items that I have from the collection. So I have some of the die cuts, and I really liked the Everyday Magic die cut, and I liked the Get Outside die cut. I also have the Everyday Magic that is in the chipboard stickers, and so I really like that as well. So I haven't really decided at this point what I'm going to do, but I know that there's going to be enough stuff in there that I like, that I'll try to work with the colors and the phrases that I want once I get everything glued down, because I like the style, the design of the page, with the strips over on one side and then the pattern paper over on the other side. So I just have white cardstock as my background, and these strips I'm overlapping, so I'm not using, you can't visually see the full strip. So on this last one, which is pink, I'm cutting it a little bit so that it's not too thick compared to the other ones. And what I did when I was going through and trying to determine which branding strips I would use, I wanted, I happen to have 2 of the paper that has the rainbow branding strip, which worked out really nice. So I put that on both sides, and all of those colors are in that that bird paper. And so then I just wanted to pull colors from that. So there's a lot of that blue in there, so I pulled that blue branding strip, and then I wanted to pull some of the yellow out and some of the pink out. So I pulled those colors and cut my strips and put them over on the left. As usual, I'm putting a little bit of whatever you call that. What is it called? I don't know. The stuff that I put, tissue paper. Yeah, that's it. Tissue paper. Putting some tissue paper behind my photos, which I do almost every time. And I'm going to add a couple other layers. So I decided to add this yellow layer. It's, the paper says Wish all over it, which has nothing to do with the layout, but I just liked the pop of yellow over on that side with the yellow of the birds and the yellow of the strip on the other side. And then this paper, I've used a lot of this paper already, but it is that kind of scarlet color, and I really like it. It's in the pictures of the birds, in some of the birds, and then it also is in the rainbow page, the rainbow strip, I mean. And so I decided that I would add that to my background. And once I added that to my background or behind my photos, I decided that I was probably going to use the flower um, flare buttons instead of the heart ones because it has that same color and it matches so nicely. And I just like them. They're pretty. I've had them for a while, but and haven't used them all because I've been kind of looking for the right. You gotta have the right layout sometimes for some of those flare buttons. So here I am kind of auditioning the other ones, but I think as I'm looking at these, I realize it really does need to be the flowers. I decided I needed a little bit more of that red scarlet color over on the left side, and I also felt like I needed a place for that everyday magic to sit, and so I just used a little strip of that paper underneath. I do end up cutting. I have it go off the edge, and then I just cut off the edge a little bit. So okay. So I end up deciding that I'm going to use the Everyday Magic chipboard instead of the ephemera. And then part of the reason that I did that is because I liked the color, to be honest. I wanted to use that kind of green color. I also knew that I wanted to add some sort of title, and I kind of went back and forth between, do I use Everyday Magic as my title? I could also use the Get Outside as my title, but I end up going a different way, sort of. So I decided that I wanted my title to be Explore, and there is in the on the stickers that you can see there over on the left that are like chipboard stickers, there is the word Explore already written out, but I choose not to use that because it's navy and there's hardly any navy on my layout, and I just felt like it would stand out. Plus, I really liked the mixture of the different colors in the alphas, and so I'm just kind of trying to figure out where I'm going to put my title. I'm not using like a sketch or anything on this one, so I'm kind of designing as I go, which is usually how I do it. And so I hadn't really decided where I was going to put the title yet. I was thinking that I might put it beside, but I'm not really liking the way that it's looking. So I end up changing that out. In a few minutes here, I'm going to go away and I'm going to come back with my journaling. So I decided to add some journaling strips to this, and my journaling says, once again, nature has provided us with some spring excitement. Beatrice discovered this lovely nest under our deck. Hashtag nature is a trip. So I'm going to end up putting that journaling beside my photo instead of my title. And I put my title down at the bottom. And you could read it as just Explore for my title, but you could also read it as Explore Everyday Magic, which I also like. So people have asked me why I use journaling strips and I don't write my journaling. I do handwrite my journaling. I have a lot of layouts where I've handwritten my journaling. It seems like lately I've done a lot more journaling strips. I think one of the reasons is because I can usually get more journaling on a page if I type it. So that's one reason. I don't hate my handwriting. I don't love my handwriting. I have kind of no opinion about my handwriting. I am an elementary school teacher, so I can make my handwriting look pretty neat if I need to. So it's not really that, but oftentimes it's more about getting more journaling in a smaller space. And I can tend to do more journaling in a smaller space if I use my typewriter or print it out on my printer. So I decided I couldn't just put the journaling over there on the left without giving it something to kind of house it, to make it not look like it's just hanging out there. And so I went back to the sticker sheet, and there are these little phrases that are on the sticker sheet. The one at the top says, "Here we go." And it has like the flags on either side. And the other ones, some of them had flags or arrows, but I decided to just cut those off so they were all straight, so they would look universal. And the same, instead of some of them pointing one way and some pointing the other way and all having different directions, I thought it would look better if they were more universal. So they say curiosity, get outside, explore, hashtag explore, and fresh air. I thought all of those kind of fit the story, obviously, but also I liked the colors. I thought they added kind of that, not exactly rainbow, but the multiple colors like that I already have going on in lots of different places on the page. Then what that does is it allows me to also put one of the Flair buttons to the left of my journaling, and then that, I don't know, kind of helps it look like it's got a home, especially once I add my pictures over like where they belong. So this is basic design of how it ends up looking, and mostly what I have left, I add a few little things, but for the most part what I have left is I have adding some thread and gluing things down. So I put a little flower down at the bottom left by my title because I wanted a pop of yellow down there. I thought that yellow looked really good. Also, with having the yellow behind my photos, it kind of draws your eyes across the page. And so that's why I chose that. And then since that's kind of one of my clusters, I went ahead and put one of my Flair buttons there. I will end up with 3 Flair buttons on the page, and they will be kind of in a visual triangle to kind of move my eye across the page, which I don't always do, but I often do. Underneath each of the Flair buttons, I will have put some thread. So what you're seeing me do here is I am using my T-square ruler to make sure that, here we go, that one is straight, and then it makes it a lot easier for me to get the rest of the items straight on my page. So I'm going to use my regular adhesive. This is Scotch adhesive. I'm going to use that underneath, or to put down each of my sentence strips. I didn't use any mixed media or anything like that, and so if I don't use mixed media, then I don't need to use the liquid glue necessarily. If I do use the liquid glue though when I use the foam adhesive underneath, like what I'm doing right now. I'm popping up each of those words, and so when I pop those up with my foam adhesive, one side has adhesive on it but the other side doesn't. And so when I glue it down to my page, I use the liquid glue. It just tends to work a little bit better for me in my experience. So yeah, so I'm going to put those 4 phrases. Right now I might only have 3. Yeah, I think I only have 3. Well, and then the one on top, and I add one later. As I keep going here, I realize it's still not quite finished. So I'm adding tangled thread underneath each of my 3 Flair buttons, gluing those down with my liquid adhesive. That tends to work the best with me. I also use my liquid adhesive underneath the word explore to glue down the word explore, partly because I lifted it up and put it back down and lifted it up and put it back down enough that some of the stick had come off. But then also because I felt like I needed to make sure that was secure because it was over the top of some of the thread. Then, so just now I added fresh air, which is that blue strip at the bottom, the last phrase strip, and I felt like it needed to be kind of the same size. That whole left side needed to be the same size as my photos on the right, or close to it. And so I found a sticker from the sticker sheet that is another pop of yellow, which I liked, and I added, I popped that, the sticker is a flower, and I popped it up onto some foam adhesive so that it will pop up, and then yeah, so then I'll glue it right down there in the center, and that will add to it. Awesome. So the get outside, I am putting in between the 2 pictures. And I like the way that looks. Since I popped up my pictures, I also popped that up. And I'm almost finished here. The close-ups are going to come here in just a couple of seconds. This is all happening during our quarantine, and so the get outside was part of the reason that I put that there, because it's been rather difficult to get outside and feel safe. Even in the neighborhood, there have been a lot of people out, and so then you're like, when are you too close, and all of that kind of stuff. So I didn't journal about that, but maybe I will remember that as I look at this. I don't know. We'll see. So here come the close-ups, and you can see those beautiful buttons. I'll link all the information about how you can get those Flair buttons below. Everything I purchased here, besides the Flair, I got from Paper Issue Store, so I'll put that information below as well, and a code so that you can save 20%. There's my journaling. Thanks a lot for stopping by, and I will see you in the next video.